The Enlightenment Jesus. Royalties of Peace. Still in the storm, back to peace that has no storm, looking unto perfect peace. How are we all doing today? This wonderful Wednesday I bring to us our episode of this podcast on politics, spirituality. Today is August 21 of 2024. I did listen to the First Lady, Michelle Obama, speech given at a convention in Chicago. It was very, very interesting. And all the Democrats shouting, do something about it, do something about it, do something about it. We doing something about it. First Lady Michelle talked about Vice President Kamala testifying of our elders. She said her mother looking out for all to strengthen the fabric of the earth. She said America, but to my hearing is the earth. Because when we talk about the United States of America, we're talking about the world. That is why when it comes to United States of America's politics, no one has to have their head down. You have to have your head up. You have to know what they are up to. Because it takes the understanding of the politics of the United States of America to know how the world is going to go about life. Yes. Is it about blue or green or brown or white or the crystal linings that surfaces the earth when the moon shines or when the sun rises? We are all paving the path of righteousness, the path of truth, the path of reliability. We cannot say trust, for only in God we trust. But on men we rely. We rely on men because we trust God. If not of God, we will not rely on men. It takes trusting God to rely on men. We have got to do something about this battlefield of our world. She said honesty is the best approach. Considering our pain and sorrow of one another, we want peace of mind. And it takes us all. She made a statement of why do white people fear black people? And while she was speaking, I could hear the answers in between her words float in my mind. It is very obvious that when you know where your clean source of water has to come from, you have to be very vigilant with the source. You have to pay very close attention with the source. That is not hate. It may feel like restrictions. It may feel like pressure. And the pressure may start feeling like hate. but rather only being vigilant. Sometimes being vigilant can enable high ego that could cause pressure and pain without realizing, needing someone to scream from the source, the need of ease. Whites don't hate black people. White people don't hate black people. Black people don't hate white people, but we feel like threats unto each other. We know we are humans, but we battle each other like barbarians. When we talk about politics, we know republic is white and democratic is black. It is very obvious that the whites who are part of democratic are considered blacks by the whites who are Republicans. At the end of the day, it is expected because we all want to get high. We all want to go to the high. Whoever is behind is behind. It is very obvious. But the only problem the one at the top has is the fear of high ego to enable arrogance that could drop them down very hard. The fear of falling back very hard is what the white people struggle with. And when I talk about white people, I mean the white human beings. Now, when we talk about white, we know being white humans is very different from being racial, racial beings. There is a white people and there is a white human. White race, maybe better, white race. There is a white race and there is white human race. When you don't have the human in between, it can be very, very, very struggling to understand what is white. White is greater enlightenment. Now, when it has to do without human in it, it can be very barbaric. And which is why some white people are very lost when it comes to disputing what is white from what is black. President Trump is more of a black if you want to really consider him of the white race. It's very confusing where he stands is where all other Democrats also stand. But he is a rich man. He's an elite. He has the ability to walk the aisles of the white race. But always very close contact with the Democrats. He's very different from President Bush and every other white president who have been Republican. He's one of a kind. He's different, very different. You may call him the in between or. But now, understanding what the First Lady Michelle was saying concerning giving, giving Democrats the chance to be president was very, very, it was very, very, it was shallow. I'm sorry. It was shallow for the minds who do not understand where they are, but very, very informative for the ones who understand where we are. If you do not understand the white human race, you may be very lost with what she's saying. But if you do understand the human white race, you will not be lost. It is very different to be a white race from a white human race. Blacks and whites, the black race and the white race, both have white human race individuals who can testify of what I'm saying. When we are all going about this politics and running around the rush hours, it is very important to find yourself of expected because we all are supposed to be white human race. We all are supposed to be the white human race. For we are done with the dark age. This is white age. But we still find each other still jeopardizing with rights, rights, rights. When we still hear about we need right, there is short of knowledge. There is still dark age among us, already in the white age. And these need to be restored. These of us need to be restored. Understanding politics. Politics is holy. Politics is spiritual. Illuminati is holy. We must be able to understand the difference between the Holy of Holies and the Gentile courtyard. When you go to the temple, every assembly has a chairman. Every assembly has a chairman. There is always a sharp point where both angles meet. When you listen to politics, what do you hear? The Democratic National Convention in Chicago was really lit. First Lady Michelle said there's something magical in the air. Of course, there is this luxury that's always been in the air that so many we didn't know, and I just found out just not long, just recently, and I'm so wowed of how long I've been a black race instead of a white human race. When black human race has already been gone long ago, and when we used to hear preacher Father Martin Luther King Jr. talking about the dream. Today, he will say we are not really prepared because some are still lost, and it's very disturbing. Having a black woman to become president is no joke. This is completion of work. A black woman to be president is not a matter of a competition. We are not in competition with men. We are not in competition with men. We are trying to complete work done. We are trying to seal the work already completed. We cannot rush to seal when it is not completed. It doesn't matter who becomes president right now, but if it happens to be Vice President Harris, we haven't come to an end yet. It might just be the initial step to the ceiling because there must be a black woman that will have to sit on that seat when everything is sealed. This is not a dream. It's reality, for the dream has come true. Father King Luther Jr. was not having a dream of black kids and white kids clapping hands on defeating some other white and black kids. It was about all found 100%. It was not about some division of some new kind of black and white. It was the matter of right of human race. Human race, not a kind of black and a kind of white. What we're trying to portray out here of being black and white is very disturbing. We must try to understand human race's journey. The human race has a journey. The black age is done with, and now we are in the white age, and the white age must fulfill its purpose of how we speak politics and how we address ourselves, looking back at our elders. I really appreciate the First Lady, Michelle Obama. When I look at her, I can tell, if not because of our multiplying and having children, she would have been the one to close up everything. But for some reason, it's very interesting how she has two daughters and a man being the first president. She was supposed to be the first president. She was supposed to be the first president and closing all of this. Matri, matriarchal, is that how we say it? Matriarchal, motherhood, patriarchal had already done the rough job. It's matriarchal to close it up. The white man now it's supposed to be the black woman to close this up. She was so fit, and for some reason we didn't make it because we didn't get the answer. The South dreams the dream. The North closes up with the interpretation of it. It's amazing how the truth speaks for itself without even our work being done. The North had very few children of every home. It was the sign of the mind becoming a fullness of glory. Like Father Steve Harvey would say, women act like women but should think like men. Looking all beautiful and all eight figure, heels on, should think like men. For we are all ascending, no more descending. When we talk about becoming big, it's of the mind, not more of having children. It's not about having children. Too many children. What if Mama Michelle had many children? She wouldn't have been able to be in the White House. Two was even more than enough. You could ask them very well. It wasn't easy. Being in the presidency at that same time, raising two beautiful golden joy, the crystals of the earth. The crystal linings of the earth need to be very well taken care of. Our children are very important to us while we are running this race of being adults. How do we bring gold where there is rust? We begin to ask ourselves these questions. We are on a journey to return home to see the kids. Those we call our angels and supernatural are our kids. We don't bring them into the war with us. We complete the war and join them. All who have completed work have retired and now kids just waiting to be fed and taken care of. We are now the parents working, should get to our senses to realize we are not equal with Father, but the Son. While we complete this journey and reach the destination to become kids, we are becoming kids is realizing there's only one Father who fits us all, and that is of perfect peace and no division. We are becoming kids is becoming the one image perfect of God. It is time to relate with the Great Awakening and Enlightenment, chasing, trying to make a colorful fabric of rainbow was not a joke, but worth it when blacks were being forced into it like slaves. Was the unpreparedness and not enough information given. We were not ready to join work without enough information. Didn't matter because it didn't stop us from keep searching until today of now great understanding. It's not about being lazy, but being slow and being effective. I hope this beautiful message helps us today of great enlightenment. Going in for politics is not the end. We are still learning. We are still learning and helping the children to understand we are also still learning like they are. Yes, our coming back is not about the presidency alone, but of enlightenment, of the people who make the presidency. We are the government. Whoever is president does not stop us from being the people of expected. The whole world looks up to us, the United States of America, because now the world has become the United States of America, and that will be on us of choosing to be at the top of the hill. We cannot drop down unexpectedly and complicatedly, but rather shine up even better. Whatever we have lost, we have to restore. We will have no excuse if we fall back. Reminds us of the Twin Tower. It's like the North and the South. Should be enough figurative for us to know what we are chasing after of enlightenment. It's not a game, it is spirituality. It is our mental health. Traditions must be resolved with reason, with healthy reasoning. Mama Michelle Obama said, it's not about cutting healthcare. It's not about seizing the right from women to become mothers. It's not about banning our books, but about reasoning, about therapeutic communication. It's not about being brutal. It's about communication. No one is saying that everyone is democratic, blacks are perfect. No one is saying that women are perfect. No one is saying that those that are still learning are perfect. But rather how the approach is being done should be rectified, is what I could hear out of her. Therefore, our actions of traditions should be worked upon. It is not enough. We're not trying to go back to the days of civil rights. We can't keep on with our ancestors like trying to jeopardize them, but rather understanding where there is a lesson and where we receive blessing. Because no one is perfect. They came from imperfection. Yet, the fullness of glory was still traveling its road with them. Their true self was not forgotten even when they had the disabilities. Must we be solving the disabilities while traveling with them of their abilities? They were all about peace. They were all about enlightenment. They were all about a great awakening. No matter the disruptions in the way, no matter the barbaric of yesterday, they will never want us to be at war, even though it took war to make this place a living for all nations. They will not want us to continue by trying to reach the greatest of enlightenment by war, but must find the right ability. We are no more premature, we are now mature. We all got off our sleep halfway, walking this road was like dreaming until the days of the civil rights, hearing Papa Luther King saying, I see the dream, the sweet dream of this bitter dream we are having right now. Because that sweet dream is the only way we can reach a reality, perfect peace. She said, politically, republic or democratic or independent, must I say, I am libertarian for those who are dependent and not lost, but only testify that we are still premature at some stages of life. Therefore, the Republic and the Democrat are still working on themselves, while those independent are able to enlighten them of where they are falling short. And we are realizing the need for all to become independent needs our reaching the greater enlightenment of ascending, no more descending others down. Stand up for what you know is right. Will only get us to the place where we are able to realize that some right that we chose needs to be fixed, needs some polishing up, until our rights are all one right, is where we are heading to. We are heading to where our rights are all one. When you stand for your right, with time you realize, even those of more percentage of a right that is not right will get to a place of exhaustion. And even if you're a follower, will also seek what is right. Because there is a signal. Does not matter how many are in a group. Does not matter who has the more votes. There is always that signal that will testify for the need of polishing up, of recovering from a short of knowledge, seeking for fullness of knowledge. The need of decency and humanity. You must seek for concern for to touch someone. You need permission before you touch someone. Because we all are at the place of sensitivity. I hope this beautiful enlightenment helps us to really seek ourselves very, very diligently, very carefully, for we are worthy, individually worthy, to shine our light without feeling like we're going to hurt another. Yet we must be very, very sensitive with each other, such that the way we present our right should not hurt another, but give them a chance to say something about it. And we can present ourselves of expected, not trying to shadow ourselves down for others to speak for us, but to speak expecting someone to say something that can help us speak what we want to speak better. I hope this reflection helps us so we all can speak healthily. Peace tills the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking onto perfect peace. Politics with women is just beginning. I pray the first woman should be the one to stand with all glory. But however that it is, a woman or a man, we must be able to keep on looking for the expected perfect. Thank you all for listening. Amen.